I'm still getting over freshers, so sorry about the voice. I think I said in the first essay that I find writing to be my ideal therapy, so apologies for the spoilers, there is more, I promise. To me, real therapy, talking with someone face to face, would be a terrifying realization of how dull I am, whereas this one-way arrangement we have going right now works much better for me, and there's no chance of an awkward silence. So, with my thanks and apologies as I can't afford to pay you for our sessions, we're going to continue with me sharing a little in return. I don't find it relaxing to concentrate on my breathing. It's boring and loud. I don't like trying to feel grateful or pay gratitude for small things in my life. I quickly end up asking how much chocolate really deserves my praise when I'm already paying for it in health and mortgages. I like going for walks and going to the gym, but then it's over. It's not like a holiday where you get the memories or the weeks of Instagram content. I don't like positive quotes simply because I don't like being told what to do, and I don't like listening to other people's successes because individualism, luck, and well-connected parents are impossible to emulate, I tell myself. If those methods help you relax, I apologize for dismissing them faster than a swipe left, but at least see if they help you avoid a migraine while you listen to me getting my Nameste on my way. Hard work is difficult to quantify. I could say in years to come that these essays were immensely difficult, but really the only thing challenging about them is putting myself out there. And I fear someone asking, what are they all about? Where I'll be forced to shyly explain why I'm embarrassing myself. Which may be when I need to remind myself of the following. I like my knowledge, and here I'd like to divulge to you the knowledge that makes me feel amazing, lucky, incredible, small, and yet infinitely alive. In short, it gives me the reassurance to get over myself. I'm not a God-fearing man, but as an agnostic, this is as close as I get to one. The following is largely an abstract from the most re-listened book in my Audible library, by an enormous margin. It is the following excerpts that make me feel a swell of gratitude I want to pay homage for, because I feel comfortable, esteemed, and more forgiving of the world, even if Man City win again. So while I usually leave this to the end, I am recommending now A Short History of Nearly Everything by Bill Bryson. The introduction, Chapter 16, Lonely Planet, Chapter 19, The Rise of Life, Chapter 26, The Stuff of Life. How did we all get here so smoothly? It's a wonder to acknowledge your personal feat in being here, and my gratitude for you staying with me in particular. No matter how hard you try, you will never be able to imagine the huge amount of debt you owed the universe upon your birth. And I don't mean the universe as some ethereal concept, even less as an omniscient deity. I mean the good fortune that atoms, as dead as they are, as mathematically lifeless as they seem, throughout the whole rest of the universe, will on Earth combine and cooperate to create replicating patterns in the very particular way that we call you. You are a walking miracle, but don't let that go to your head. Largely, this is all a matter of probability. If, in certain conditions, lifeless atoms will suddenly develop impulses to congregate and reproduce, then all you need to find those conditions is an infinite trial of experiments. Luckily, the universe being larger even than your luck, there is bound to be at least one experiment, and probably many more, where it's successful. We call ours Earth. Still, life is incredibly strange. Your life is your DNA, and somehow DNA evolved itself as a way of transcribing how to build life from all the various proteins, and, as an extra astonishing trick, replicate itself with astonishing accuracy considering its length. Whereas lifeless proteins that make every bit of you seem to form themselves from no impulse at all, and no ability to replicate themselves. They still don't today. DNA orders them made. Proteins are utterly dead molecules, like CO2 or H2O. It is a complete paradox that these two entities, neither seemingly nothing more special than strings of lifeless atoms, were able to arise together, without direction. I've stated before in these essays the breathtaking complexity and length of your DNA, and it exists in every one of your trillions of cells. Those cells may be as complex as jumbo jets. They not only contain all the information to make you, monitor, replicate, repair, and do their duties, but they only exist because of direction from DNA about how to build proteins. A single cell may contain 100 million proteins. There's estimated to be 1,000 unique proteins that make your body, not all for muscle incidentally, and your cells know how to make all of them, They know which ones you need right now, and they know how to put them to use because of your DNA. But how does your DNA know what to do with them? How could either molecule have arisen alone? Molecules form all the time from atoms, like letters in the alphabet, strings of which that could join up and be thought of as words that we call amino acids. Proteins are chains of amino acids that form sentences, but crucially a coherent sentence. Most protein sentences that you use are actually more akin to paragraphs, yet one letter, one word slipped into the wrong place, and it's no longer coherent. It's an accident, useless. So, the probability of trillions of atoms forming together in the correct order to make molecules of amino acids which line up in the precise sequence to spell a particular sentence of a particular protein happening on its own, just by chance with no direction from DNA, is so vanishingly faint as to be practically unbelievable. It's like spinning a one-armed bandit with hundreds of large wheels until you get all the cherries in the universe to meet in exactly the right way. Yet it happened, and even more remarkably, another equally preposterously complex molecule made use of it: DNA. So, it's like an alphabet of over 90 letters arranging itself randomly into a complete paragraph, and then there being a printing press company ready, with employees, CEOs, and a mission statement, all appearing to print books of it. It's insane, but hey, welcome to life. It may just come down to probability. I'll say it again, if you have an infinite universe and possibly infinite universes, you are absolutely certain to find, if you search hard enough, an opportunity for life to evolve. In that instance, of course, we arose here because it was the only place we could. Earth, however, is not just well placed in the universe, Goldilocksing around the sun. If that were all that mattered, then the moon would be a green-blue marble in the sky itself, not a grey desolation. Sorry, moon, you're beguiling in your own way. It is also extremely fortunate that Earth has a molten iron core. If you've ever tried to grasp how old the universe is, a good indicator for me is the knowledge that only 4 extremely light atoms of the 98 naturally occurring ones that exist on Earth were created in the Big Bang 13.7 billion years ago. So how did all the iron, and notably heavy atom, end up forming a sphere hotter than the sun in the center of our planet, if it weren't created in the Big Bang? It was in fact created by another star that formed, grew larger, maybe larger than our entire solar system, burned for a few million years, used incredible fusion and gravitational energy to create lots of heavy elements like iron in its own core, before dying as the largest explosion the universe can produce, a supernovae, which spread those elements like seeds on a field. This may have happened many, many times before, until all those elements coalesced once more into our planet, the others, and our current sun, which is now small enough to have a much longer lifespan that enables the prosperity of life on Earth, but still contains 98% of the mass of our solar system. The sun does not just give off light and heat from 8 light minutes away. Without our molten iron core spinning beneath our feet, creating a magnetic field and diverting all the other harmful radiation the sun puts out, our cells, our DNA, and anything else organic would fall apart before a side effect like cancer even had a chance to replicate. So thank goodness for all the swirling iron beneath us, making us the envy of both Venus and Mars. However, we can't say for certain that life on other planets hasn't coped without a magnetic field. We assume it can't because that's what our life needs, but our life has very deliberately adapted to our planet. Its proportions of atoms, the conditions of its weather, the balance and variety of life are not miraculously suited to us, but rather our evolution has made us suited to exploit it. Had the planet not been made of so much oxygen, or had a little more carbon, or even more poisonous arsenic, we would likely be completely different, or at least require completely different things to survive. But then, the life around us would also be completely different. Indeed, even the geography may well be. Geography matters. It is thought that if all the land masses push north, squeezing out the salty ocean beneath the North Pole, the entire northern hemisphere might get plunged into another ice age. Humans survived such times before, of course, but It seems only to have been inside a receding ice age, and exiting an ice age is no mean feat in itself. Reflective ice ages are exponential chain reactions that reinforce themselves the stronger they get, and it may take an extra large dumping of something like carbon dioxide from volcanoes or our own fossil fuel reliance that heralds their retreat. The entirety of Homo sapien evolution has been inside this fortunate fair weather. Indeed, we owe an awful lot to the good timing of our evolution. Certainly, the Earth has been congenially habitable many times before, but humans arose just once, which betrays the flukiness of it ever happening again. At other times, we were mammals scurrying about in leaf litter trying to avoid dinosaurs, or crab-like creatures floating through the oceans, not nearly readily poised to take over the Earth as now. When the timing was right for the Homo sapien line of descent, we were extremely lucky it was during an untypical batch of good weather. For the majority of the Earth's history, however, we wouldn't have liked it. The Earth, as pleasant and as perfect as it seems to us, can be murderous. As far as is known, however, in the entire universe, it is the only place that you can live. As I've said, life seems mostly not to happen in the vast universe, but even on Earth, it's not easy. As we rely on a very narrow slice of the planet we inhabit. Over 2/3 of our planet's surface is off limits to us, and much of the land isn't much use either, being too hot, arid, too cold, unproductive, or too high. Our physical adaptability is pathetic compared to much of the animal kingdom, but we have our ace, our brains. The brain is a curious evolution. For all animals, it is a costly and demanding organ. It won't have escaped your notice that most animals don't make the effort to increase their brain size. But for us and our relatively diminutive size compared to the other ferocious creatures fighting for survival out there, it has allowed us not only the chance to outsmart them, but to actively strategize our survival. 1/5 of the calories you burn go towards your brain, which explains our disproportionate demand for them. For whatever reason, call it random, probability, or call it luck, our DNA has accumulated this instruction to increase the demand for calories by increasing our brain size, without knowing whether or not it would pay off. It may well not have done. If we'd have evolved slightly smaller brains like chimps, or larger like Neanderthals, the demand-to-benefit ratio may not have been so rewarding. But that's evolution for you. In the here and now, it always seems miraculously suited. Yet it takes time. Your genealogy is old, nearly as old as the planet. As unlikely as it appears life is, our planet has only been here 4.5 billion years, and yet it was just 800 million years old when life was already on its way. The life that evolved then is your ancestry. In the realest sense, you are 3.7 billion years old, and every lineage of your evolutionary branch that didn't end in a cul-de-sac is a forebear to yourself. Homo sapiens as a species have been around for no more than 200,000 years. A blink, no, less than that, a flash in the universal and planetary scales. What we call our technological boom started just 12,000 years ago, and from there we've literally reached the moon. But even just counting the Homo sapiens, your personal lineage is remarkably lucky. Your DNA is so long and complex that its uniqueness is guaranteed until the end of time. There won't ever be another like you. It is the unique result, therefore, of your line of ancestry. If you're British, even if you're not a Celtic white like me, there is an excellent chance that you're related to the first King of England, William the Conqueror. Of course, you have 2 parents and 4 grandparents and 8 great-grandparents, so by counting back the generations to 1066, you have more direct parents than were known to be living in Britain at the time. So the chances of you not being related to the royalty there is vanishing indeed. So you're nearly as important as Danny Dyer. These ancestral debts mount up to a great deal of luck. All of your forebears for 200,000 years were alive long enough to find the right partner at the right time, meaning they didn't fall ill or just fall. They weren't eaten, drowned, stuck, or fatally wounded. None of your parents were unfortunately blasted away by a volcano or a meteorite, and they were both attractive, or at least half the couple was, and fertile when they passed on their genetic code to you. It was this unduplicable combination of eggs and sperms that resulted inexorably, astonishingly, and indeed uniquely improbably in your eventual existence. As I've said, life is extremely difficult, yet most life, no matter how simple or miserable, be it bacteria, moss, algae, flatworms, fungi, plant, lice, mosquitoes, spiders, or rats, will do everything they can to survive. Life doesn't need any ambitions, any goals. Even a lichen, that thin, dry fungus that grows across barren rocks in the worst conditions the earth can throw at it, will endure it all, proceed down any avenue, and expend any amount of energy it has just to experience intoxicating life 1 second longer. Though it may seem disconcerting to learn that your cells are programmed to annihilate themselves if they make a mistake, they do so in order to protect you. Every one of the cells on this planet, every part of the DNA held in each organism, is devoted to a single impulse: to keep hearts beating, lungs breathing, and brains thinking. Not one of them would not suffer all the pain in the world just to give you an extra moment's existence, to keep you going, keep you fighting, surviving until better fortune rounds the corner. Perhaps we should remember this when making decisions about the world we're passing on to our descendants. They're already luckier than we are, and they have the best chance of anyone in your genetic line yet. So maybe give them the benefit of the doubt to keep improving, to keep milking that good fortune. If we try to take it out of the hands of Providence, who knows where we might end up? One thing is certain: they haven't done badly so far. Some take solace in believing that we're here for a purpose and by design, but for me, comfort is knowing that you're here against all odds, and that is a win in itself. And on that note, I hope you're sound asleep.